Thanks, Ken. Thanks for those kind words, and thank all of you for joining us here today, and appreciate your continued interest in the Commercial Crew Program and human spaceflight. Super excited about this flight. It's great to be back here in Florida, getting ready to launch Nick and Alex on their way on Crew 9. It's an important flight for us in many ways, but as Ken mentioned, this is our first flight off of Pad 40. We started working on this capability a couple years ago. Our teams worked very hard to certify the pad. We completed that certification through the flight readiness process. That pad's ready to go. A lot of hard work by our team in working hand in hand with FAA and the Eastern Range, and then it's great to be on the Space Force side for our first launch. We had our launch readiness review this morning. We're proceeding toward launch and proceed toward the launch time of 1:17 p.m. Tomorrow on Saturday the 28th. We rolled out a little late this morning. You know, we had to go back to the hangar for the Hurricane and got out there a little bit late. We are vertical at the pad, and the next big activity will be loading the cargo here this afternoon and then getting ready for flight. We do have backup opportunities if we don't make, if the weather's not good or we don't make it Sunday, September the 29th, and the 30th, we have opportunities on the range. If we launch on Saturday, we'll dock on Sunday, September 29th at about 5:30 Eastern. It's about a 28-hour rendezvous from the pad to the space station. As you know, we've been watching the weather all week with Hurricane Helene. My thoughts and prayers are with those in the Panhandle area of Florida that have gone through the bad weather. But we were able to get out and do our static fire and dry dress on Tuesday before the weather hit. That went really well. We were able to get Nick and Alex into the vehicle, get their suits checked out, their seats checked out. That went fine. And then late that evening, we did a static fire of the vehicle and checked out the 6 M1D engines in the first stage, loaded the second stage with propellant, and that went well. Then we buttoned up the vehicle, did some inspections of the engines, buttoned up the vehicle, brought it back into the hangar, and then rolled back out. Bill will talk a little bit more about the operation for static fire, but we did have a couple issues on the pad. The chilled water system that's used for Dragon, this provides cooling up into the Dragon spacecraft. We had a little bit of a leak, a relief valve relieved right close to launch. The SpaceX team have gone back in and fixed that valve, and we don't think we'll have a problem for launch. And then we had a very unusual problem where, of course, the LOX-RP Merlin engines produce soot as a byproduct. And at Pad 40, that soot goes out and exhausts out to the east toward the water. And the wind of the day blew that soot back over onto the Dragon spacecraft. So when we rolled the vehicle back in, we inspected Dragon and we found soot in several areas on the vehicle. We were able to work through that, clean the solar arrays, clean several areas, go in and do some repainting of the Dragon spacecraft. The SpaceX team did an incredible job of repainting, in particular quadrants 1 and a little touch up on 4, and got it all cleaned up and ready to go. Paint is important for spaceflight in that it has to be designed to both absorb heat and keep things warm, and then also reject a certain amount of energy from the sun. And so we worked through all that. We have a couple things to close out, but we're really on track for flight. Let's see, we're also flying for the first time since Crew 4, a second flight booster. When we moved this launch out to September, we allowed SpaceX to go take our 1085 booster and fly another Starlink flight. It's good for us to get that data, but our team had to work through some certification, and we worked through all that. Of course, we've been following the fleet and the Starlink anomalies, the stage 2 anomaly on the MVAC. We worked through that with SpaceX. We also worked through the hard landing with SpaceX. They've been doing a great job of sharing data with us. A couple other unique things I'll mention, capabilities of the Dragon vehicle. We have a unique capability for the first time on Crew 8 and Crew 9. It's an emergency contingency capability for landing where if the main parachutes were all to fail, the Super Draco thrusters will fire right before the vehicle would make contact with the water, and then it would be an emergency configuration to save the crew on a really bad day. So that's enabled and going to fly for the first time on Crew 8. And then for Crew 8, we also extended our capability. You know, we have a 210-day certified limit of Dragon, which is about October 1st for this, and we've extended that out by 30 days. So we had to go through and look at the windows, the structure, all the rotating machinery, the avionics, the thermal protection system, the prop systems, and we went through that certification and extended it out to 240 days. We'll have a little longer handover from Crew 8 to Crew 9, and that's really to deconfigure the Crew 8 emergency return and seats for Butch and Sunny. If we could go to a graphic, we have a couple of graphics I'd like to show. The first one, this is what the contingency seat configuration looks like. We posted this out on our blog site, but this is the seat that Butch and Sunny will ride on. There's some straps. The space station program allowed us to use some of the foam and some configuration, and this is out there for you to see. And I think we have one more shot of kind of what the normal config is. This is the normal config of the cockpit, where you see the 4 seats. The commander and pilot sit in the middle of S2 and 3, and then we have C5, C6, and C7 cargo locations. You can see bags and